As I clap myself too, because you
Oh,
guys are wonderful. You guys are wonderful, but I do believe I deserve an applause from myself. So there.
so there.
Welcome, welcome to. Well, so we.
Oops. Sorry,
Yeah,
that was the engineer's fault there.
that was the engineer's fault, was he? Turning the volume up on the audience again.
Yep.
Good job you did actually, because I was actually sitting here thinking, "Hang on, which show are we doing?"
Right, right.
I almost said the Metaverse Week in Review. I'm glad I don't do that anymore. Metaverse is now a no-go word, really, as far as I'm
Oh,
concerned.
right, right.
Yeah, we are, in fact, Meta World News. We look at the world of virtual worlds and immersive spaces and places and social environments in 3D and in 2D, for that matter, too, or 2.5D, or all points in between. We don't, as if we can help it, mention the M word anymore because we don't know what it means anymore.
Mm.
Everybody has their own thoughts on that.
Oh,
Um,
indeed.
that's, yeah, but we look at the worlds and the immersive spaces rather than all the cacophony that goes with a fully fledged M word.
M word.
A monkey verse. Oh no, or what was the other one I came up with? A matter verse, which has two meanings. Matterverse can refer to the world of matter,
Yeah.
or it can be a does it matter verse. Um, it's the opposite of the banned world, really,
Mm.
the world of matter. So it's the converse. Never mind, never mind. I can see a rabbit hole coming, and I'm not in a fit state for that today. Right, let's carry on. Um, I'm Mal Burns, by the way. MAL, first word. BURNS, second word. But, as is very common on the grand old interwebs, let alone the M word verse, we get squashed, don't we? Yep. Online, you're a sardine whether you want to be or not. Squash, squish,
Squish.
squirt, etc. So, if you want to find me on Twitter, you have to look me up as MALBURNS. Twitter.com/Malbones, all one word. And if you really want to, you can look up our other Twitter account, which is twitter.com/Metaworld News, all one word too. Not a great deal posted there, just stuff that's very particular to immersive spaces rather than general sort of haptic news and stuff like that. So that's where you go. And throughout the show, as we come along, I'll be you're going to be hearing my highlights, shall we say, for the week ending the 29th of August, which is actually today. And if you don't watch this for a couple of days, believe it or not, it will be September.
Mm.
But that's none of my affair. We'll be officially Septemberized this time next week. Right. What else was I going to say? I can't remember. So I'm going to move on to the gentleman sitting beside me here. Welcome, James Out Loud. Hello, James.
Well, hello, Mal. Welcome back to the airwaves or the
And
internet
you
waves.
and you've even managed to change your top this week, and
I've
it's
changed again. Yes.
no, but I've noticed this when you come out. It's a sort of two-parter, isn't it? You've got one layer which is
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
the other layer is a jacket. It looks rather good.
yeah.
In fact, for once, the jacket bit sort of matches your hat.
It does. It
Well,
does indeed.
a
Yep.
bit.
Interesting.
So, well, tell us where you got that from, I guess.
Yeah, this was from actually from the Sansar store, and this is an outfit they call the Rocker, the Club Rocker outfit, and it's related to Splendor, the Australian festival. And
Oh,
so
right.
they're still doing some follow up work on that. But it's a complete outfit. It's pants and shirt and jacket.
Oh,
And I still could keep my my page boy hat on as I
I
am
did.
wont to do.
It's actually one I might try and check out. Actually,
Oh, okay.
I, you know, my avatars in other places, and I tend to wear leathers,
Yeah,
and that full mesh avatar. So it's quite good to get the old, it's a rather cliched rock
it's
and roll
it
bit,
is
isn't it?
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. This avatar is fine. Uh, I've yet to find a card to stick in my hat that says news.
Ah. Right.
But we'll see. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, as well as wearing fancy shirts, James here is twiddling knobs, which behind the scenes, obviously, which allows him to switch from my desktop, which you'll be seeing in a minute, or my avatar from a different angle, etc., etc. A lot of wizardry with both the audio and video, which is how we get to make
Uh,
this program marginally more exciting by
our
changing.
our modern
Sorry.
modern age makes it so simple.
Yes, until it goes wrong, as we
Right.
found out
Oh
found
yeah.
out last week. We finally got our sound worked out last week, and we lost our desktop
And we lost
projector.
our desktop sharing.
Before that, we lost our proper sound. You can't, just doesn't work. And today we're on emergency sound as well, believe it or not, because something's gone haywire in the course of the week, which we can't explain. It's
Something,
like the
something.
cable. It's like the cables under your desk that somehow twist themselves up
Yeah.
overnight.
Yeah.
And they've got a mind of their own. Well, the innards of our computers seem to have a mind of their own
Mind
too.
of their own.
Believe it or not, it is not all the God Emperor Suki doing it. There are other things going on in your machine that, well, who knows what they are? If I knew what they were, there wouldn't be a problem, would there? Anyway, moving on. I think James can actually switch to my first picture today. Just a couple of pictures before we start the links. This snapshot, I've actually got two copies of the same thing here, but neither of them actually are I've got the venue whatever on it, but it's a way off. We'll bring you more about this at a time. But basically, a major XR conference, which obviously handles VR, AR, all the hours going basically. 1st to 3rd of December. Which looks to be kind of interesting, and I think it's pretty much all online. It's very much conference season, because actually shortly after that we'll probably have our Open Sim Community Conference too. It's amazing how quickly the year seems to be disappearing. But we've got a couple of weeks yet. But nice graphic, a nice advert for this one we see there. Right, now this one gave me some pause for thought. It's a curiosity item, but back in the 1930s, did they have video phones?
I don't believe so. Right.
It's a quirky cell phone. And look, it's even got an Apple box on her down here. So that's where the CPU is. And that's where the phone. And then the headphones here. They were pretty forward thinking back then. Now I come to think of it.
It looks like a Tintin comic with the
no,
plane in the background. Yeah.
I don't think it's a comic. I think it's actually an illustration from
Okay.
It is some quirky illustrations at those times. What they think the future will look like and stuff. So I think it is actually a vintage piece of artwork. Although I may be wrong, but I just loved it. It just says a lot with in a very quirky way. But now I've remembered my excuse for putting this up. Quite literally, in the pandemic and everything else that was going on, a lot more people were using their video phones, whether it was Skype or moving on to Zoom calls and WhatsApps and even the Fastbook Messenger, and plenty more. There was a few months ago, there was a rather extraordinary change back there. I guess it came as a result of what they call Zoom fatigue and things. And it wasn't a shift to the virtual worlds, as you might think. It was a shift to going back to audio. Gosh, you mean have an audio call? Wasn't it? So you'd have to look at the person at the other end, I think, And while one of the companies, the services online that took full advantage of that, is one that's called Clubhouse. Is it? Actually, I think it's called Club. Yeah, I'm sure it's called Clubhouse. It's basically a you make rooms and have conversations in audio online. You don't use it to call somebody like you would Skype or something. You actually start a room and then send a link to people, and they can come and join you. So it's like an ad-lib conference kind of thing. But it's audio only. So unlike this illustration, there is no video component. But it has become very popular, and I finally I finally got into it, and I managed to download a client on the Mac that actually works with it. It's I forget what it's called. It's Club. I can find it for you here for those of you interested. Yeah, it's called Club Deck, and it's actually an app for Clubhouse that runs on the Macintosh. Um, a bit like a desktop client for WhatsApp. It's basically a phone thing, but becomes well. But the news this morning, not this morning, it was literally only about an hour ago, or about an hour before I came on air. Philip Rosedale, our wonderful friend Philip, tweeted that Clubhouse have come to agreement to use his spatial audio, high fidelity audio, which I think is great. I dropped him a quick congratulations. Clubhouse have come in to a vacant market and they've got big very quickly. Although I know there's a lot of people who aren't really up to date on new services and stuff like that, Clubhouse is hard to ignore, and it's going to be around for quite a while. So it's a bit of a coup, I think, well, actually, it's a coup for Clubhouse, to be honest, but it's a bit of a coup for Philip, I think, too. I would say, although his system is being used in Science Space and other virtual worlds and things, I would say that the biggest place his system will have been used today will be Clubhouse. And it just means that all these audio conferences that now take place on the web will have full kind of spatial awareness. So I have to see how it works. I mean, bearing in mind that the participants in many of these things are on one channel kind of thing. It's hard to know exactly how you split up the spatial kind of thing. And it's especially important when it actually comes down, because to reduce lag, the system just sends a single signal, which is the decoded. Well, Philip would have to explain it, but it's kind of decoded at the other end. So, unlike full stereo conversations where everybody's patched into a separate socket, it's all mixed. They are still patched in, but all the mixing is done server side, so that what comes down to your viewer is actually an optimized signal that actually has spatialized all the voices being input at the other end, so to speak. Anyway, just congratulations to Philip Rosedale for getting high fidelity's audio system on Clubhouse of all places. There are thousands of meetings going on that thing all week long, and hopefully people will get a bit of surprise shortly when they realise their voices are travelling all over the place in surround sound and all around them and all that stuff. Yes. Right, okay, so that illustration I thought I would put up because it gives me a nice little trigger. Talking of Philip, right, here's a Metaverse question. If most people don't want to socialise and meet new people when wearing masks that cover their mouths, what makes us think we can get those same people comfortable doing it as avatars? Quite a good point in its way. Anyway, the other picture news. I've got the link to this coming up in a week, but Ken Bai has finally got to, would you believe it, episode 1000. He did take a little bit of time preparing. Yay! Absolutely. Congratulations to Kent. Apparently, I haven't really had a chance to run it. Apparently, it's over 3 hours running time. And he's basically put together all sorts of bits and pieces from 1,000 shows and called it a retrospective on the ultimate potential of virtual reality. So I'm going to have to find myself it's a half day, over 3 hours, and make it a morning or an afternoon listen, and pretend all my other feeds don't exist. Or maybe I can play it in the background, but looking forward to that anyway. So there's that little promotional poster came with it, so I thought I'd put that up. It's not a new image, it's one he always uses actually, but episode 1000. I mean, when In World Review got to episode 100 or something like that, I thought, God, we made it 100, and then 250, and then 500, but to get to 1,000. I mean, it is more than one a week on many weeks, of course. But I mean, just, well, I suppose, one a week, you'd get there after about 3.5 years, wouldn't you? I don't know, but I can't do the maths. No fit state to do mathematics. But anyway, congratulations to getting by for that one. Um, oh God, this is hilarious. This has nothing to do with us. Enough said. Right, moving on though. This is my news of the week. I've downloaded it. I already had various copies of the Myst games from Cog.com, who are they're like Steam. Well, in fact, your friends list is synced between them. I downloaded this. It's the first thing I ever really played. I'm not a game player, but I get shot down in the first frame. And it was so. What was 40 years ago? So no, it can't be that long, but it's a long while ago anyway. And I always loved Myst and its sequels. And basically, this week, I know this is still going to September 9th. If you go to cog.com, which you can see there, you can actually get the complete Myst collection, which is basically the original Myst, real Myst, and the brand new Myst, which can also work in headsets, and all the original Myst sequels. So there's Myst 2, Riven, Myst 3, Myst 4, Myst 5, plus 2 that aren't really part of the Uru Chronicles, I think it's called, or whatever. So you get the whole package basically for well, it's £45 in the UK. So yeah, $60. And so it's a bargain, for given that if you bought all the games individually, as I say, they would be about $110. And I actually have one of them already, one of the remakes already, but so getting another copy is pointless. But I've now got the entire collection on my Windows machine, and I must say I tried this out, and I tried the settings, and you can choose to go with not the old point and click interface, but the original story. Or you can choose to, it says if you've played it before and stuff like that in its earlier incarnations, you can try the randomization button. And I then started exploring and realized that once I randomized everything, some of the clues that I expected to be there to prompt my memory, like a piece of paper on the ground near where you start, aren't actually there at all. The world's been rebuilt. It's a lot richer. So instead of just simulated, very 2D looking wooden planks, that everything feels 3D when you walk on it. The island seems much the same, except to my horror, there are a lot of other hidden areas that aren't actually in the original game. And so how it all drops together and what order you need to play them in, if you do, I've yet to find out. But I spent about a couple of hours in there just refreshing myself with the Myst environment, and it was just so great to be able to just pan around and move around. The arrow keys and the mouse is all I needed, and I've had enough experience of headsets that I can totally imagine how gorgeous it must look in a headset too. Although apparently the navigation methods you use when you're in a headset are slightly different, due to the form factor being a bit different. But anyway, it's, if anything, inspired. I'm not saying Myst inspired Second Life or something like that, but it was 10 years before. There's no shared game here. In other words, it's not a where you log in and play with other people. It's a very lonesome sort of thing where you're going through puzzles and stuff like that. But it's a classic. And to see it revamped like this is just bringing back memories. It's sort of visually, it certainly now competes with anything you might find in an online immersive space. The only thing not available here are other people, basically, except for short little video clips of them. I know that some of the sequels have been remastered a bit, and those actually do include other people, but they're not other players. They're just NPCs in the story. But Myst is a completely, totally empty world full of puzzles and mysteries and everything for you to solve. And it takes a long while. Whether I'll ever complete the rerun, I don't know, especially now it's changed. But a plug for that, because it's absolutely gorgeous. Just like it always was, in fact. And yeah, that's it for my picture knobs, right? So with that, I'm gonna put the picture department away, and well, what's happened? There we are. And I'm going to, yeah. Oh yes, I added this one very quickly at the top of the list. Um, Philip sent this link to Clubhouse and TechCrunch, sorry, and they're the ones who've they've done a full write-up of the spatial audio to make users feel like they're really in the room. And talking about Clubhouse, busy summer hits audio up, especially, and yeah, the guy who started Clubhouse while they created Google Duo and Hangouts and stuff. But yeah, where are we? Oh, right, here we are. Yeah, to pull off the new audio tricks, Clubhouse is integrating an API from Second Life creator Philip Rosedale's spatial audio company, High Fidelity, and blending it with the company's own custom audio processing tuned for the chat app. And High Fidelity's HRTF technology stands for Head Related Transfer Function. You got to laugh, haven't you? Right, so when it maps speech to different virtual locations by subtly adding a time delay between stereo channels and replicating the way that high and low frequencies would sound entering the ear depending on the sound's origin. So this what did it say here? The result, long used in social VR, gives social experiences a sense of physical presence that good records have been pulling off for years. Think of listening to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon in stereo with good headphones, but instead of sound effects and instruments playing around in your head, you're hearing the people you're hanging around with arrayed in virtual space. And of course, this Philips system is now being used by SciSpace in their team. Oh God, I forget what it's called in their enterprise offering, basically, and in various other places too. Many, I guess, smaller concerns have been using it under the radar. So all's very good for Philip there. All right, so that is enough of that particular one. Yeah, I'll move that one. And we're at the same start that we're at almost every week here. It's the Ghost Howls, otherwise known as the XR Wheat Peak from the scarredghost.com, SKARREDGHOST.com. And this was published early in the week, August the 23rd to be precise, which was last Monday, because it was the day after our show. And it's all about news from the week before that. So none of the news in this roundup is from the last week, as we're talking now, but of the week before that. But it's a convenient way to start the week. So if you don't look at it already, it's worth bookmarking the scarredghost.com just to get this at the beginning of the week for, a retrospective roundup. He mentions the Fastbook launching Horizon Workrooms, and later on, there's a link to the same site where he's done a very big review of Horizon Workrooms, and he's managed to avoid using the F word or the M word in the title. But we'll find out about that later. And as normal with him, it's an absolutely huge review. Okay. Other relevant news? Too much Fastbook all over the place, really, but it's sort of relevant, so you have to include it, don't you? Another article about the metaverse, blah blah blah. Right, I'm not going to read down all that to you. It's from the week before last anyway. So always worth checking scarredghost.com out. And probably tomorrow morning, Monday, is you follow the same link and you'll get a new edition, because it is very much a Monday thing. SK.
Well, we seem to have lost Mal. So let's see if he comes back. Oh, it's pretty early in our program. Let's see, he's Still connected. Let's see what might be happening. Sometimes it's the internet, and sometimes it's could be a system issue. I should I should have something to share, but I don't. Hmm. He's still connected, so I'm watching the internet connections. Um, Connected in a variety of locations, so I'm wondering if there's just an audio issue on the Mac. Um, I guess I could show some technical difficulties. Oh, there he goes. He just disappeared from all the locations. So let's there we go. We'll put this up.
Ah. Okay, yeah. Am I still connected? Hmm. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. According to this, I am.
I'm hearing you, Mal. Are you hearing me?
Oh, right. Yes, yes, I'm down hearing you.
All
Right.
right.
Network hiccup. I should have mentioned actually when I went out today, and the first thing I noticed when I got back was that there was no internet, but I rebooted Virgin's Hub and it was fine.
Okay.
But it seems it dropped again now, and there was also a load of racket outside my window, outside the pub.
Oh,
Sounds like
okay.
hooligans. So I hope they're not
Oh,
ripping up. I hope they're not ripping up my fiber optics in their drunken state. Who knows?
I hope
But
so too.
anyway, I'm still not getting the. Okay, let me just do it. See if I can toggle. Ah, this looks like it was. Okay, that will work. Okay. Are we still on air, perchance,
We
or?
are. I was just showing kitty videos and playing some music. So.
Absolutely wonderful. That's the way it should be. I keep meaning to actually make sure I send you some backup material. I got a couple of pieces I'm working on making some other ambient sounds to go behind.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of things that can play for fairly unlimited time, just showing our logo with some nice music and or whatever. in the event of catastrophe. But anyway, I'm glad to hear that. Well, folks, very sorry about all that, and thanks very much to James here for filling in, shall we say. Much appreciated. It means I don't have to start the whole thing again and then edit two pieces together again later on. I don't know how long it would actually lasted. Oh, hang on. I've been disconnected from the sensor. Or, no, I've been taken out.
Are you still there? I heard you for a second.
Worlds? No.
Yeah,
I'm definitely logged in. Anyway, oh yeah, there we are, visit, and two people already there, no doubt, two versions of James. All right, yeah, here I come. Here I come. I'm landing, folks. This is like one of those sports programs where the commentator says, right, arriving now. Oh, yes, he's steering around that corner. He's coming in straight. He's definitely going to land there shortly. And yes, just a little tweak of the old mouse. And yep, he's grabbed his seat. And there he is. He's in position. And yes, that's it, folks. He is there in position, in situ. And he's even got his lips flapping. Now he's got his lips flapping again.
all right.
Right, let's get back to the actual news, shall we? I was about to move on to my next item when we lost connectivity. So this is actually just one of those pieces, really. It's at readwrite.com, readwrite.com, and I list the top 30 most influential people in the metaverse. Now, like see Philip up top there again, and Charles Stross as well. Like all these things, it's very subjective, right? Occasionally, these things pop up in different sites, and they tell you the people that they think are the most influential or important people in the so-called metaverse. Now, I don't take this. I'm taking this one with a pinch of salt because my own name is obvious from its absence. So anybody that doesn't include me is on the wrong track. This is known fact. But given that grave omission, there is a selection of very fine people listed here. So it is probably worth your having a little browse. And you can just pretend that there's 31, but I'm just so high above the others that I'm above number one, if you see what I mean.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, read. Nice, I can get away with that. Right, readwrite.com for that little roundup. It is an interesting one. It's obviously you've got to scroll down here. People you might expect, Matthew Ball. Actually, a surprise for something like this, but Kathy Hackett, of course, and then a few people you never heard of, and a few people you have, and yep. Oh, no slip again. What's in number 7? I don't think it's a top 10. I think it's just 30 people, if you see what I mean. Anyway, find that at readwrite.com. Moving on. And we have a new survey report that finds optimism around immersive technology, and it's rising as the world emerges from the pandemic. I do like the fact that they're focused on immersive technology and aren't actually too bothered about getting readers by citing the M word. Presumably they know their thing and they don't need to cite the M word just to get readers, because readers will come. Anyway, this is actually XRA, just 3 letters, xra.org. And XRA stands for XR Association, so XR being VRAR and all of them wrapped up together, or stuff. So this is really just a report along the idea that Well, basically, a sense of optimism about online spaces and stuff like that, what they call immersive technology, is around, and partly because the world's emerging from the pandemic, but possibly because of it. And anyway, whether we are actually out of it yet or just at the beginning of the end, I don't know. There's a link, as you can see, to the full report. Not much point in me doing that. It's basically another part of their own site where you've got the download available if you want it. It's a free download, by the way. So if you're into reading reports, official, pompous reports, I'm joking. Then yeah, just head in there, so to speak. Right, not much else to say about that, really, is there? Moving down, right. This is from ISTE. I can never remember what they stand for. I think E is education. Ed is. You think they'd tell you, wouldn't they? I'm so familiar with the logo. Andrew Wheelock. I interviewed him. Uh,
Yeah,
whatever.
Spiff Whitfield. Yep.
Before, yeah. Anyway, right. Posted actually August the 10th is a wee bit earlier, but it popped up this week. Basically, explore these worlds, virtual worlds for learning. For some reason, this is bypassing my reader mode too, so glaring white screen. Yeah. Making the case for virtual environments, etc., and the benefits. 2021 best virtual worlds for education, blah blah blah. Oh, now he gets around to it, right. Minecraft, it seems to be a top one here, followed by OpenSim, including Kitely, which is actually the platform where I interviewed him end of last year. And on the horizon, CoSpaces, Mozilla Hubs, HoloLens, Oculus Rift, and good old Second Life. Second Life on the horizon? That's an old expression, never mind. And Roblox, that have a Roblox end user, particular pieces for Roblox. Quest Atlantics and Active Worlds, who have been around for a very, very long time indeed. Longer than Second Life, believe it or not. So, yeah, just a little guide. Strictly one for the learners, really, and possibly educators looking for places to take kids into and things.
So
There are
ISTE is the International Society for Technology in Education.
Of course it is. Right.
Yep.
Well, folks, I didn't know that.
Trips off
Thank
the
you,
tongue.
James.
Yep.
I did know it, but I can never remember it,
Oh yeah.
And ask me again in half an hour, and I'll probably have forgotten it then too. It's just one of those things. But obviously, if you're a teacher looking for somewhere to take kids for learning, or indeed looking for, many of these environments can be adult, but equally they can be, set up for kids too. So they can be as safe as you want them, really. I don't know much about Minecraft, but I know it's used a lot in education. What I can tell you is that OpenSim and one of its grids called Kitely, it's very easy to set up a completely private region, and you give your students logins and nobody else can get it unless you invite them, kind of thing. So anyway, load of information for you to peruse there. That's another easy site to get to. It's actually iste.org. You don't actually need to remember whatever it was James just told me. International Society for Technology Education, right. ISTE there. Anyway, yeah, but just iste.org will actually get you there. And everything more you might need. Right. Got to put that away. Right. This one's interesting. A site called WeForum. A knotty problem. As in not.
Mm. I was hoping for the other naughty.
Yeah. Now this is not naughty, naughty. Now, I mean, this is important, really, if only because this is you can't see it, but at the top of the page here we got this is the World Economic Forum, who are a major institution. Their address is weforum.org, so it's weforum.org. And you'll find this from 24th of August, a few days ago now. in the Sweets link, so I haven't got it up here because it didn't really fit today. I do have another link to a website about a law firm who started up this week, claiming to be the first law firm, sorry, specializing not only in virtual worlds law and stuff like that, but they have their office in a virtual world, and I think it's Somnium Space. But yeah, it's basically law. And I wasn't interested. I avoid lawyers. They're not as bad as accountants, but sorry, I'm being flippant, aren't I? Anyway, this is actually, as you say, World Economic Forum sort of talking about applying real world laws in VR and AR, because obviously technology increases at such a pace these days. Although I particularly always think, well, you just apply real world law to VR and AR. But as it says here, virtual and augmented reality technologies are evolving fast and our legal systems are unprepared. So this is a guide to challenges that poses, along with questions we need to start asking. Probably the answer is keep up to date quickly. Most of the problems that arise here tend to be misunderstandings, although obviously the lawyers, engage with that quite happily. But, I don't know, when I think of copyright or libel, slander, all those sort of things, if they occur in a virtual world, it doesn't matter that it's in a virtual world, that whoever's offending is committing a crime anyway, if you see what I mean. You can't say, oh, well, it was a virtual world and it's full of cartoon avatars, so I thought I could say what I wanted about so-and-so. That doesn't hold. If you say it, you write it, whatever, it's a problem. And obviously they're mentioning here that the rise of emergence and acceleration of augmented reality and in artificial intelligence, AI, could be raising novel and complex challenges for which we are prepared. I would argue that there's probably real world law for just about anything, but I would say the defense lawyers will fall over themselves trying to avoid admitting it. Certainly AI, augmented, artificial intelligence, is opening a sort of thing. Let's say that you have an artificial intelligence write an essay for you, and contained in that essay there is libel or slander of some party. Who do you prosecute for the libel? Because it's an artificial intelligence. Do you sue the people who develop the code for that artificial intelligence, who will then say, oh, it's gone its own way now, it's an independent entity? You can just imagine all these excuses in the future coming along to actually try and get people out of off the hook for doing things that they probably know damn well they shouldn't have been doing in the first place. But it's true, if you write an article for a magazine, you're unlikely to be caught for libel because it goes through an editor. The editor reads it and makes sure there's nothing in there. And if there's something suspect, they take it to the lawyers before it gets published. If that journalist happens to be an artificial intelligence, technically, you should still have somebody read through it. There should still be steps, of verification needed here, like we actually do with real world law. That's going to be the only way we ever get around fake news and fake images and all the other stuff that we're up against these days, is a verification process. That you still have to have editors and things that screen these things. You're not getting to get that on some individual's local blog, but generally speaking, any source, be it a web page or a space in a virtual world, needs to think about that. Just because you think you're in a small backwater, it's not an excuse to, throw away decent conduct, and if necessary, the law. Well, I don't know. I often wonder, it's a point for discussion really, whether we've moved too far beyond the pale already. We're so used to fake imagery that where do you get? How do you track these things down and find out the person who actually did the Photoshop job and then promoted the lie or whatever? And if something's gone viral and it's been reposted 1,000 times, there should almost be a way of tracing the origin. And technically there probably is, but it'd be cost prohibitive to launch that kind of investigation for a single item. So anyway, I don't know, but law is an issue there, and the World Economic Forum are sort of talking about how they're going to cope with it. They're totally serious about it, but you often wonder whether they're on the right track. I mean, they're pretty up to date, but even so, bureaucracies and things like this do tend to be a bit behind the curve. And when you've got things that are accelerating at the rate they are, you almost feel sorry for them at times. But anyway, a good little read on such matters, weforum.org. And yes, they have their knotty problem. I like that phrase. Right, okay, go there to solve the knotty problems. Moving on, Mojo Vision, right. Company, of course. Mojo Vision have crammed its contact lenses. They produce contact lenses, obviously, with an AR display, a processor, and wireless tech. So that little thing that's no bigger than you, well, it's a contact lens, so it's about the size of your eyeball, isn't it? Do you want to wear screens on your eyes? I've got a feeling when it comes, so I like the idea of glasses, but if I had to have contacts, fair enough. Anything is better than a helmet and the enclosed thing you get on it. But anyway, they're looking at it, and it is actually remarkable when you think of a contact lens. It's the sort of thing where, if you, I don't wear them, but I used to have a partner who did, and drop them on the floor, and you're in for a whole morning hunt. Where did the bloody contact lens drop? They really are small, and of course they're transparent. They have to be. Remarkable objects in their own right, but to actually get a processor and wireless connection and an AR display built into that is no mean feat. I mean, just look at the size of the thing he's holding up to his eye there. Anyway, that's Scott Stein of CNET. He's holding up a Mojo Lens prototype contact lens in front of his eye. So that's actually the prototype. So, well, the rest is filled with technical details about size of this and size of that and whatever, and a schematic showing sort of how it all works. It's funny, you see that, and it looks like a piece of regular hardware, but then you realise that that's actually all in a transparent lens, and yeah, well. So it's got a long way to go before it hits the shelves. They have to pass muster with regulators and overcome social discomfort, etc., etc. But they tell you all about that there. So you'll find this report at cnet.com, which is cnet.com. And this was August 25th, which I guess was midweek, about 4 days ago, something like that. So check out CNET for that one. Right. Now, what have we got here? Okay. The God Emperor himself. What Lord Zuckerberg does not seem to understand about remote work? You mean he doesn't understand something? Gosh, golly, I can't believe that. Why is he a God Emperor if he doesn't understand things? This does not compute. Zuckerberg does not compute. No. Facebook recently launched a beta version of a virtual reality platform for work meetings, and it's Horizon Workrooms. The product allows people to convene from anywhere in the world, and but they reckon after 17 months of remote work, another screen is just about the last thing anyone wants to do in their job right now. It's interesting that these criticisms aren't necessarily just being fired at Facebook for the sake of it. I mean, you know, in one sentence, you've got a very good rationale there. That in many cases, 17 months of remote work, the last thing anybody wants is another screen. However cartoony and attractive it might be, not, or be, as the case may be. Anyway, this is a sort of review basically, and the website I'm reading from is businessinsider.com. So we're on a serious enterprise level here. businessinsider.com, and yeah, it's August 26th. That's what, Thursday, something like that. Quite a long article to read. So and it, I suppose, like all these things, it doubles as PR for the thing they're criticising. But you know, it's all down to different perspectives, and this is very much a business-orientated rejection of well, Horizon workrooms as they are at the moment, and also the idea of screens. You know, what they're actually saying here is, you know, people have been on screens working remotely, and possibly got eye strain and God knows what else. The last thing they want to do is to be introduced to another screen just when they maybe feel they can get away from a screen for a while. Anyway, moving on. As I said, that's businessinsider.com. Right. This is the week's retweet. I posted this, I don't know, earlier in the week or something. It's been retweeted. I get all my retweets coming in, and this has been retweeted all over the place by other Twitter users. It's research. The site I'm actually at is ctovision.com. I'm not quite sure what that fully stands for, to be honest, but it's
CTO is Chief Technology Officer, as in CEO.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Right. Of course it is. Right. My mind's somewhere else today, I think. Right. Yeah, exactly. And the way it's written, not on the web, obviously, but it's CTO capitals and then vision. So the website is actually ctovision.com, or lowercase, as is the way of the web, so to speak. But yes, again, introducing Lord Zuckerberg and Facebook, etc. And it should be open to all. And okay, in fact, to get to the meat of this, you need to go to IE Spectrum here. And this is the actual web page. As you can see, it hasn't converted into a nice, flashy, readable screen, but who knows? Maybe we can make it a bit more presentable for you. Right, yeah, okay. So question and answer, why the metaverse needs to be open. This actual, I may have had this last week. It seems a bit familiar, but it's spectrum.ieee.org. So spectrum.ieee.org. And yeah, I think we did cover that last week, and I probably linked into the one I've come here from. Just seems to be a more recent reader. Oh, hang on. Nothing like doing this stuff live. Yeah, it's just a small plug and a link basically, and the graphics. So nothing much to be seen on the actual there. But obviously you can follow this link from my Twitter feed, and if you not want to, you can then click through like I just did to something more appropriate. Right. Okay. This is Financial Times. Yeah, this is okay. I thought for a second I was going to get an advert, but oh, hang on. Choose. Yes, I have to choose to pay to read. Hang on. Where did I get? I got through to it the first time. Okay. We should be more careful which metaverse we choose to live in, and it looks like I've used up my freebies. Okay.
So you can't live in that metaverse.
Well, quite. Yes, exactly. Financialtimes.com. So it's ft.com. That's actually all you need. And yeah, it looks like you're gonna have to pay them if you want to. I think the first time you go there, they'll give you 3 reads a month or something. And I've actually, right, I know what's happened. I've got I'm in the wrong browser. If I was in my normal browser, I've got a plugin that gets me through the paywall, but it's not on. It's not in Safari. It's uh, Google-based plugin. Right, okay. FT.com. Sorry, I can't show you more, but fairly serious site, fairly serious article, basically. And yeah, I can't show you here, unfortunately, but you will find it on my Twitter feed, of course. So go to twitter.com/Malburns, Malburns, and you could, all the links from this week and more can be found there. And the best thing about that is not it's a good way to keep in touch with links and me, of course, but the links do take you to the exact page you need. Whereas often when we're doing summaries like that, all we can actually see is the name of the site, like the front page name of the site. So it is useful for clicking through from Twitter if you want to get to the exact page concerned. You may have a problem with that one unless you've got some kind of overriding thing for paywalls. All right. Moving on. Now we're back to the Scarred Ghost. Let's hear it for. Oh, poor thing. I think he's hungry. That wolf.
It's a ghost.
Oh,
Oh, it's
yeah,
the wolf. It's a wolf howling. That's right. The wolf howls.
yeah, no, it's a wolf. It's a wolf.
Or
I
the
swear
ghost
it.
howls.
That's
The ghost
village.
howls.
Every time I hear it, I just think he sounds a bit more hungry than the previous time. I think we should send a.
Well, he's a ghost.
I always think we should send the animal protection people around to. Oh, come on, you're making a howling noise like that. Poor thing is in need of attention. Okay. Right. Anyway, this is put that one away. Now, Skull Ghost, the longest reviews imaginable. Basically, he doesn't mention the M word once. He doesn't even mention the F word once. But he does mention the product as it basically is. Horizon Workrooms, and he's done a review. Nice, but not compelling for work yet. August 28th, so this was quite literally yesterday, he published this. And as usual, it's a great review because it goes into everything, quoting various people and everything. I see me scrolling down it here. This is just in reader view. This is a normal length article for the Scarred Ghost doing a review. We get that's not Facebook, is it? Oh no, that's a joke. Sorry. You can't have them or whoever. Right. Compares to Zoom calls, just a thing, desk issues. He's basically found every single flaw, and to give him credit, the odd tiny plus point here and there to the whole thing. But look, it just goes on and on. It's avatars, the rooms, the spaces, how to use them, moderation, everything. What's that?
What?
Oh, interesting. Well, during his first meeting, he decided to respect the code line by line. And in fact, I started drawing giant penises on the blackboard. The time to penis ratio has been something like 2 seconds with him, while showing multiple middle fingers and cursing during a meeting with Max. Nothing happened. So this means that Fastbook is actually not actively monitoring workroom spaces. So he tested it by doing everything that was getting kicked out, and he didn't get kicked out. So nice one. So just proves that Zuckerberg has got his finger in every pie, but his eyes are elsewhere. Who knows? Video connection. Look, this is a giant read if you want it, and it is a good read. It's not a sales pitch for Horizon Workrooms. It's a fairly evenly balanced review, in my opinion, though the overall impression you get is shall we say, disapproval, maybe approval for the idea that a big company can come along and boost awareness of this kind of platform. But over and beyond that, you don't really want the big companies. So their function here is to publicize all the competition by throwing their money at something that ultimately will be redundant. Who knows? Who knows? None of us know the future, do we? So find that review, massive as it is, at scarredghost.com, SKARREDGHOST.com. Moving on. Right. I've got that thing again. Right. VRARA. This is a virtual reality associate. Oh, God. I can never remember the full thing. It's one of the VR associations, basically. And they've got chapters all over the world. This is a report on storytelling they did, featuring the best immersive tech companies and studios. So it's really a review, looking at what's around. I have a feeling they may charge a bit for this. I'm not sure. You can, I'm not sure where online meets is. Yeah, here we are. They have a load of them during the week, actually. I think these meets are actually free. I think they're sort of expanded Zoom calls. Thursdays, women, Wednesdays, energy, healthcare, and storytelling on Thursdays, Eastern time. Yeah, actually, this is 6 in the evening. I have been to some of these because some of them are British time friendly. And VR-AR Association, of course, that's what it is with Zara. The website is THEVRARA.com. And let me just go back. I think it was right. This version is actually the same site. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. They report the report, but they've got the link to the online meets there, but they don't actually have a direct link to some kind of PDF for the report. So, but anyway, if you want to find out more, remember this is focused on using virtual worlds for virtual reality for storytelling and AR, but I think the story here is really a VR thing. Yeah. THEVRARA.com. Okay. So get to some of the regulars that pop up every weekend here, don't they? This is Forbes, and this is Charlie Fink's End of Week Roundup. This week in XR, looking at 4 VR games, Ray's Snap Camera Upgoes, TikTok AR effects, and Venice VR. Quoting Tony Vitillo, interestingly. Here's another comment on Facebook Reality Labs from Tony Vitillo. It says that for all its MR magic, workrooms have way too much friction. Sorry, I was misreading that. Anyway, so this is a roundup. There's some stuff here I've mentioned, other stuff I meant to mention. What Charlie and his co-present, his take, and this article is really much his own choice. He obviously covers film festivals and like Venice and stuff like that, where increasingly film festivals are including VR, though the actual VR that they are including tends to be glorified video in many cases. Sorry, I'm just getting a bit confused here. I've got to stop watching my monitor at YouTube because it appears to be 10 minutes behind. It's still on something else. Okay, so hopefully at James's end, he's hearing me in real time still.
I hear you, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, the lag at YouTube is about, well, let's just say considerable. It's still on two screens ago. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is Charlie Fink. All you need here is Forbes.com, Forbes.com, and you hopefully you can find it from the front page still. If you have any problems, just go to my Twitter feed again and just link through directly. Okay, Now, we covered this already in a manner of speaking, but this is the actual link you want. It's voicesofvr.com, voicesofvr.com. And this, same illustration we saw earlier. This is episode 1000. Absolutely astonishing. And congratulations to Ken By here. It's his, I won't say weekly because some weeks there's not one, other weeks there's one every day. His podcasts come when they come, but he covers such a wide range of things. This special episode is over 3 hours long, and it's a special 3-hour retrospective featuring over 100 of the best answers he's received about the ultimate potential of VR over the last 7 years. So over 7 years, he's been interviewing a lot of people, and he's just choosing over 100 of the select answers that he's got that in composite, give you the ultimate potential of virtual reality. So he's really well on subject here with virtual reality. Some of his actual podcasts go off the center focus on VR a bit. They go into technology and medicine and all sorts of technology, but his real focus is VR. Yeah. So you got a bit of a written summary here. If when you're on the web page, you can obviously click there, which we can't hear, to actually listen to Voices of VR. You can also get it in Spotify, iTunes, all over the damn place, basically. If you look at Voices of VR, you'll find it fairly easily in a lot of places. And and as you can see here, he gives a whole list of the things that he's included in the retrospectives, because some of these are just brief answers from an interview he did. And anyway, he summarized them all there. And a lot of info to go with the 1000th episode. So good on Ken. Kent. Sorry, not Ken. I'm in a weird mood today, aren't I? Right, okay, so voicesofvr.com for that one. And that is actually it for the direct links. Now, you'll find also on my Twitter feed, you'll find various videos as normal that are posted. They're cross-posted from my Mastodon account, which is where we are here. Basically, it's mastodon.social/@Metaworld. And I think I got that right anyway. But you can get each of these linked individually on my Twitter feed. In fact, I've only got 2 this week. And one is Charlie Fink's other endeavor, which is along with Ted Schillerwitz. They do a video podcast. Is separate from the Forbes article we just saw. And it's obviously not just Charlie writing, but a whole conversation thing. Their guest this week was Alvin Graylin, and who's the the Chinese president of HTC, or HTC China, as it were. HTC are quite big in the helmet market, probably. So, I mean, obviously, Oculus, because of its connection with the Fastbook, is pretty dominant as a public name. But HTC are probably pretty big, and they may even be bigger in some forms of sale. And then James, I suspect, has watched this one. I haven't watched it this week at all. For some reason, I've seen it all over the place.
Yeah.
This is the VR download, which you'll find at YouTube on a site called Upload VR, conversely. But this is a regular weekly, early in the week program where they look at technology and all that sort of thing. They have a Thursday edition. There's some other programs too, which are more game focused, but this is the key one every week, really. Did you have any thoughts on that this week, James?
Oh, it was quite good, and Kyle was not there. He's the usual host, his avatar with his beard, but he was. It was they covered a lot of ground, but they did spend a lot of time on Horizon Workspace, and Ian, the fellow on the right, he said he liked a lot of the functionality that he found there. So just from a technical perspective, it seemed to be working quite nicely. They had a discussion about um, I can't remember if it is Horizons, but they're talking about having a visual Turing test, and so a way of using VR to tell is the is the thing you're talking to a human or an artificial intelligence.
Oh,
So
right.
they covered a lot of ground that was very interesting. Avatars
Yeah,
and their shapes. Yeah. Yep.
oh, I'll have to give it a good listen to then.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I usually listen to at least a bit. It's just like whether I'm clicking with it.
Yeah.
But one way or another, it was. I think it's a bit late this week too. So I don't think it was Monday. I think it was more like Tuesday. It came
Mm.
out. Well, 5 days ago. So that's it. So figures. Um, yeah. That Turing test thing sounds great. Although I don't know, it would need virtual reality for that. But yeah, well, it depends what the experiment is, basically.
Mm.
Um, I wonder if anybody's done that. What's it? Schrodinger's cat, is it? I wonder if anybody's.
I
I
think
don't
there
know.
are game
I
references
don't
to
know.
that, but
Yeah, I don't know how you can actually do the experiment because you make a cube, a prim. All it would need is a prim,
and
but
you'd need a
somebody would.
cat and cyanide.
Yeah, yeah, you'd have to put the cat. Somebody would have to put the cat in it or not in it, and that would
Yeah.
be the question. Yeah, it's sort of it works better as an abstract concept rather than when you've actually got
Indeed.
a cube
Indeed.
prim in front of you. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's very good. The links to Mastodon, you can play them on Mastodon. Obviously, it's just a matter of clicking. But if you really want,
and Horizon Workrooms.
but if you really want, you can click from here to YouTube, and obviously when you get to YouTube, some of them this particular upload VR and this weekend. Hang on. Oh, and that one too. This week in XR. Yeah. So these are what we're subscribing to in their own right if you regularly use YouTube and get notifications from them. But anything interesting, you can be guaranteed that it will be on this list and therefore available here at Mastodon or via my Twitter feed, which I've been plugging all night, but I will now plug for a final time. It is twitter.com/Malburns, MALBURNS, one word, or rather 2 words, squashed. Can't do that, can we? And that, folks, is it.
Huh?
I said we were kind of hopefully a bit ahead of schedule this week.
Okay.
Now, YouTube, unfortunately, is not ahead of schedule. I'm looking at the monitor and it's reading 1 hour 13, but it's still on the Kent Buy thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's way, way behind. I suspect when we close down the show shortly, I'll actually have to wait and watch. Oh, right. It's just got to this Mastodon page, YouTube. So, yeah, I reckon it must be 4 or 5 minutes behind. I remember it's a long while since I've seen that kind of lag at YouTube. But obviously, people watching on YouTube have no idea that they're seeing us 5 years behind. 5 minutes behind.
5 years.
Now, if it was Facebook, it would be 5 years
5
behind.
years.
But,
All right. All right.
Yes, exactly. But I don't think anybody. From what I can see, there's nobody watching live anyway, which is not unusual. The only live people are those screaming in the audience here.
Right.
When I make a suitable joke, or
when we force them to scream.
When we sort of
when we twist the
press
dials.
When we literally press all the right buttons,
Right.
that they have no choice but to applaud. Anyway, talking of applauding, no. First of all, any comments from you, James, on what is a fairly short block this week, actually?
Yeah. No, it was fine. There were blissfully few comments about Zuckerberg, so I'm relieved.
Yeah.
The less news, the better.
I'd actually love the Scott Ghost review. He had to do Horizons and Workroom or whatever. But to a great extent, he was avoiding mentioning the fast book. He was avoiding mentioning
Right,
the
right.
name, and even Oculus. So he was trying to do trying to keep it in this somehow neutral territory. Although with that stuff, it's very hard to. I thought I heard another howl then, but it wasn't Stargate. Sounded like a dog. Yeah. Never mind. Maybe
Is it the
somebody.
pub? Is it the pub downstairs?
No, this isn't the pub. It sounded like a dog. I hear it a lot recently. I think someone around here has a dog in
Oh, okay.
Redware yards, and
Yeah.
it's hard to tell acoustically. It could be coming from anywhere in the square because the
Right.
acoustics or it could even be coming from behind. Yes, but it's funny when I have a helicopter flying over, which happens now and again because it's the incoming path for the Royal Fleet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it sounds like it's above me, but out of the front windows. And then I look out, no sign of anything, and it turns out it's at the back.
Ah,
But all the normal acoustic rules of what direction sound's coming from go a bit haywire here.
right, right.
So who knows?
Lots of
Yeah,
reflection.
maybe answering a question you asked me before we came on air, maybe I do need an audio engineer
Ah.
to handle real life acoustics.
Yeah. We all could benefit from that.
Tame my square, tame the wind, tame the tunneling effects we get.
Mhm.
I don't know. So, right, well, I think we can call it a day, really. I can't see how long we've actually been on air. I mean, according to YouTube, it's 1 minute 16, but of course it's 4 minutes behind. But it looks like we're well under our 90-minute rule.
According to Open Broadcaster, it's 1 hour 17.
Right. Oh, that's exactly what YouTube are telling me. But the thing is, what they're showing me is, who knows. Well, it will keep running when we're anyway. What's going on? Keep clicking things and doing wrong things. Right. Okay. Well, I think we'll leave them all to it for another week. We will return, of course, 1 week from now. So we'll be bringing you. Well, it'll be the first week of September in our headlines next week. If you want to watch us live, should you really want to, you can come to our place in Sansa, of course, at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Sundays, 7 p.m. UK time on Sundays, and tune in on YouTube as well. But the beauty of the modern age is the program's available not only to watch all week at your leisure, but for eternity, or at least so long as YouTube's servers are still running. It's there for years and years and years and years. So long as YouTube servers keep running. You keep forgetting this. You keep thinking, oh, this is immortalized now. It's on the web, But it's actually so much information. There's too much information on the web, and the servers that are hosting it aren't going to hang around. That was a dream. So anyway, we will be back same time, same place next week with a whole load more news. So in the meantime, it is goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from him.
Yeah. So it's goodbye from the two of us. A duopoly, as it were. Does that make sense? No,
Sure.
It doesn't. Not at all. It's goodbye from us because we haven't done this one for a long while. When it comes to VR, and AR, and MR, and XR, that
We are.
Indeed, we are the M word. And we are not owned by Zuckerberg.
Nope.
And we are open sourcely, independently blabbering. Right. So, goodbye from James. Goodbye from me. Until next week. Stay safe, everybody. Stay indoors as much as you can. It ain't all over yet. Even if you're in Britain and listening to Boris, it's not over. It's getting worse by the day. You're just lucky you've got a vaccine in you. So stay safe. Stay indoors as best you can. Enjoy your life online. Who knows? Being online may be the majority of our future life in the future. We just don't know at this point in time, but worth keeping your eye on it for sure. So until next week, it's toodaloo. Yeah, that would do. Come on, everybody. Aren't you going to give me an applause to get me out of here? Come on.
Oh, I don't mean to make you beg. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. You're absolutely welcome. You're absolutely welcome. I'm glad you hadn't all run off. I was a bit worried there. But then I had a quick look at the audience, and a few of you are left, at least, enough to give me a rousing send-off. So, until next week, as I said, stay safe and toodaloo. And until then, bye-bye.